some ceremonies tonight. On behalf of the Mayor of Detroit, Coleman A, the National Coalition of 100 Black Women, and the Southeast Michigan Cable Association, I want to thank you for your support and hope that you've enjoyed the evening so far. When I was asked to be your host tonight, the first question that came to mind was, why would the Josephine Baker Story premiere in Detroit? A logical question for a reporter. I was told that our city is becoming recognized as a premier center for entertainment and films. Now, unlike Warner Brothers' summer box office hit, Presumed Innocent, which premiered here last July, none of the scenes in the Josephine Baker Story were filmed in Detroit, but it is a celebration of a black entertainer. And Detroit certainly played a part in supporting Josephine Baker during her reign. Detroit is also soon to be the filming home of another movie, the Jimmy Hoffa Story, which will star Jack Nicholson and is being directed by Danny DeVito, and that is a first. As always, a premiere would not be complete if we did not hear from the various organizations that are sponsoring tonight's event, and we promise to make our remarks brief and warm so that we can get on with our film tonight. And at this time, I'd like to introduce to you Claude Wells, who is Regional Director of the Home Box Office, or HBO. And it's interesting to know that Chicago could have had this premiere tonight, but it didn't. We got it. So thank you.
Thank you. Don't say anything bad about Chicago, please. That's my hometown. I do a lot of business here in Detroit, so I do love Detroit. From the entire HBO family, I did want to also extend our thanks for your presence here tonight, and also to welcome you to the special Detroit premiere screening of HBO Pictures' The Josephine Baker Story. You know, a couple of weeks ago, I saw an article here in the Detroit newspapers that talked about the screening, and it talked about the terrific programming that we feel very proud about on HBO. But what really got me feeling good, I must tell you, was the headline. The headline read, HBO loves Detroit. And I just want you to know that Detroit, we love you as well. We want you to keep those HBO subscriptions strong. Speaking of acknowledgments, I do want to just pay a special thanks to a colleague of mine who has put in an awful lot of work, time, and energy in working with a number of different people on this affair this evening. And right now he's somewhere working still, but that's Greg Emerson. So those of you who know, those of you who don't, please say project has been a very special one for HBO. It's also been a very ambitious, in fact, you might want to say it's been the most ambitious, or let's call it what it is, the most expensive project ever done. We've been doing this since 1983. But in the tradition of the other HBO pictures that we've produced, this one also is a truly remarkable and truly provocative story that we are obviously very proud of. We're also proud about the co-sponsors of this evening's affair, the Honorable Mayor Coleman A. Young, the National Coalition of 100 Black Women and its Detroit chapter, but certainly not least is SIMCA, that's the Southeast Michigan Cable Association. By the way, I should say to all of you that currently subscribe to cable television and HBO, we do appreciate those subscriptions and I want you to hold on to them. For those of you that don't, remember, 1-800-CABLE-ME, we'll take care of it. something that we don't normally do, and that's really get close to the communities that we serve. And it's been a special delight for us here in Detroit to have worked with the mayor's office and some people in the persons of Dr. Nadine Edison and also Ida Pendleton. And of course, the National Coalition of 100 Black Women, the Detroit chapter's president, Denise Marshall Walsh. Each year, HBO produces some 12 to 15 of these original movies, all of which we're very proud about. In fact, a couple of years ago, here in Detroit, we had a special screening of another provocative film called Mandela. That event was co-sponsored by the mayor's office and Barton Cablevision. We're really excited about this particular film that you'll see tonight because it represents truly the first product, the first film about the Josephine Baker person, this legendary entertainer. She was someone you might say was well ahead of her time in the way that she fought against sexism and racism and how she really showed a compassion to her fellow human beings. The story that you'll see is not only informative, but inspirational. In our search to find the right person to play, quote, the most sensational woman anybody ever saw or ever will see, is with us this evening, and she'll be introduced to you later. And as an aside, she's accompanied by someone else who is also a very special person and who has also contributed considerably to this particular film project. So again, I just want to say thank you on behalf of HBL, and I'll leave you with this promise, and that is, you will not be disappointed. Thank you.
Now, most of you, all of you, I guess, paid for your tickets, and you may want to know where the money's going. Well, it's going to the Coleman A Young Foundation, and to explain just what that foundation is and who the recipients are, I'm going to ask Larry Doss to take the stage.
Thanks very much to all of you for being here to celebrate this premiere with us tonight. But a special thanks from me as president of the Coleman A Young Foundation and to many of our other foundation members who are here tonight for the fact that you are helping us through this benefit to support the programs of the Coleman A Young Foundation. And the most important program, the program that all of you know most about, is our scholarship program. The foundation was formed almost a decade ago after the mayor had besieged, implored, and challenged a group of us to come up with some new ideas and some new methods for helping develop our young people in Detroit. The result of the mayor's initiative was the Coleman A Young Foundation, and I'm pleased to say that today, probably 8 years after we founded the foundation, that we now have 110 young Detroiters in colleges in Michigan, and in historically black colleges across the country. Right now, the 110 young people whom we have 4-year commitments to are the kinds of young people that probably would not have the economic ability to go to college if it wasn't for the support of the foundation. We try to serve and to help develop young people who may be C or C+ or B- students and who are in, quote, economically disadvantaged, unquote, circumstances. And we're really pleased that right now we have more than $800,000 committed to the 110 young people that we have in college today. For their four-year programs. And with your help, we hope that it won't be too long before this number is 200, and that it won't be too long before the number is 500. Thanks very much for your support and commitment.
And the mayor could not be with us tonight, but he is well represented, someone that many of us in the media know, and that's Fred Martin, representing the mayor's office.
Carmen, Larry has told you all about the foundation, and there's some other important people that I know you'd rather really hear from. So I'm just going to take a minute on behalf of the mayor to welcome all of you here. Now, this marks the second special kind of evening we've had at the DIA with these premieres. And as Carmen mentioned, we're very proud of the fact that recognition is beginning to sweep the country. Detroit is a place to come and make movies. Mr. Wells mentioned in his remarks that HBO, he was impressed by the headline, HBO loves Detroit. Well, Claude, if you keep bringing projects like this here, we not only keep that love warm, we may even get married. So. Well, not only deserve thanks for bringing the project here, but even funding a good bit of the party, so that all the proceeds from your generous support can go to those 110 kids, and maybe even some more we'll select this year. So on behalf of the mayor, we want to welcome all of you and thank the star, Lynn, and the director, Brian, for participating and being here, and your great support on behalf of seeing this movie about this great, great lady who's not only a legend in her time, but our time too, and it's all for a good purpose, so that some of the hopes of a lot of young people in this city can be brought to fruition and reality. Enjoy the movie.
You may remember her as Seal from the Women of Brewster Place. She's also appeared in other films, Silverado. Her name is Lynn Whitfield, and as Claude told you, she was selected to play Josephine Baker over 500 actresses. That's quite an accomplishment. I don't know how many of you got a chance to meet her this evening, but you are going to get a chance to hear from her. And I did meet her husband, who was the director of the film, Brian Gibson. And I'd like to introduce both of them. Let's give them a warm up. Lynn Whitfield.
We've been on the road. We were in Los Angeles for a premiere, and last night we were in New York for a premiere. And we've been moving and hoping that this film will touch people and be accepted into your hearts. And I'm a little tired, but when I walked in here this evening, and I received so much love and so much adoration and so much warmth and acceptance. I can't tell you how much it means to me and how much it means to my husband. When we were off in Budapest shooting this film, going on our instincts and being guided by the gifts of God to what we had to do to make this movie good, you just don't know that you've got all this support and all this energy behind you. And I just want to thank you from the bottom of my heart. I have just a few thanks, and I think if Josephine were here, she would have the same one. So on behalf of Josephine Baker, I'd like to thank HBO for having the courage to make this film. I would like to thank my husband, who followed this film from the very beginning of the first script and developed it all the way along the way, who put all of his love and sweat and blood into this film. I would like to thank the coalition of 100 Black women for sponsoring premieres like this all around the country, and for sight unseen scene accepting me and saying, you know, this is the most substantial thing you've done, and we're proud of you, and we believe in you. And that was before they'd ever seen the film. I appreciate that. If Josephine were here, she would probably tell you that she did not have the opportunity or the time to receive a full education, and that she would absolutely support with everything she had the Coleman Young Foundation, and that she would be very pleased that anything that had her name attached to it would be responsible for raising money to help young black children go to school. And I'm sure she would say thank you. So, right now, it's sort of always vulnerable, you know, when you've done something and everybody's here to see it. And I guess, how do you feel? We just hope that they like it.
I was thinking exactly the same thing when Lynn was saying it just a second before she said it about the months and months, a year back in Budapest, when in the strange situation of being thousands of miles away in Hungary for reasons of getting this film done as economically and as well as possible, we were creating Harlem, Miami, and Casablanca and other places there in the studios of Budapest. And it was difficult, and it was austere, and it was a long way in time and place from where Josephine had lived. And I think we had in our hearts the kind of evening and the kind of people that we have here tonight to receive this film. We've stumbled a lot in making this film. I've tripped over myself, we've all tripped over to try and create the essence of Josephine's life, but every time we've tripped, there's been a kind of invisible hand that's picked us up in one way or another, and that has been the hand of Josephine's spirit. And I think she will be with you tonight, and you will leave this theater touched by that spirit. Thank you.
Before there was Dayna